Hey Internet, I'm Chaz.
And I'm Dan. Welcome to Wine is Serious Business, episode 131. Closing in on 3 years of Wine is Serious Business. It's pretty cool.
Long time.
Yeah, we're out exploring the rest of the country today. We got 3 wines from Virginia, Northern Virginia, Loudoun County. I was out in Washington, D.C. for some work I do with Amnesty International earlier this year. And one of my friends said, you want to go out wine tasting? And I'm like, yes, I would love to.
Perfect opportunity.
You've heard about Virginia being up and coming too, right? Wine Bloggers Conference was out there a while ago.
Yep.
So we spent the whole day out in Northern Virginia tasting some wines, and these are 3 that I thought were good at the time, thought were worth bringing back to share. My friend Annika, cheers to you for shipping them back for us, so like...
Yeah, thank you.
Good temperature, well, not just, like insulated, quick ship done in the spring, kind of keep the temperatures under control. We just gave a quick check-in. They all seem to be doing pretty well. So wine number 1, what we're going to start out with here, we've got Bluemont Vineyard, the Merlot, and this is called the Ram. And they did an interesting thing for like an up-and-coming wine region. Like people make jokes about animal wine all the time, but they, in addition to like clearly having the varietal labeled or whatever the blend is, they put an animal in all of them. So for people who are new to wine, you're like, oh yeah, I liked the cow. And it sits in your mind. It sits in your mind. Yeah.
Not a bad way to do it.
Kind of like colors and things like that, and people make those associations a lot better than, trying to remember specific grapes from specific years.
Understood.
Yeah, so, cool stuff.
This is 100% Merlot. Right?
Yep, and Bluemont it's up too. What do they say? It was like up nearly 1,000 feet, which like around here, that's pretty high.
Right.
It's a pretty high place for a winery to be located. And
isn't that high for Virginia too?
Totally,
yeah,
crazy views. I think they said you can see
Virginia.
3 states on a clear day or something
Wow.
like that.
Yeah, that's high. Nice nose. I mean, it's coming off with like a little bit of like a greenness to it, not a bad greenness, and a little bit of pepper notes.
Oh yeah,
to it.
yeah. Kind of like some funky earth, and I'd say the fruit's kind of like. I go with cherries, like super ripe cherries, a little bit of red pepper, a little bit of
plums
dark
too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Smells nice though, like completely reasonable. Like there's nothing that's sticking out, making it harsh. When you say green, sometimes you can attribute that to harshness.
Right, that goes.
None of that here. Yeah, it smells nice.
I like how it contacts the palate right away. You get some acid right out of the gate, and a little bit of red fruits, maybe like a little bit of strawberry flavor starts things out. Yeah, that sticks around in the mid palate too.
Yeah, it does. Overall, pretty balanced. I mean, nothing's coming off too strong. Maybe the fruit's a little over the top of the acidity and the tannins, but really gentle on contact and through the finish. Nice.
And there's this thing that I'm getting here. I'm going to bring it up. My friend mentioned it too. It's kind of like maybe this is like Virginia terroir because there's like this tangy dirt thing going on too. Right, it's not quite like red dirt, but it's definitely not black dirt or like the forest floor that you get out here. And I did notice that when we were pre-tasting a couple of these, and when I was driving around out there, I noticed a bunch of it. So, maybe it has to do with winemaking styles or whatever. But I like to think it's part of how the grapes are grown and the earth out there. So,
well, I would say this is the first Virginia wine I've ever had.
Oh,
so
all right.
Yeah. For me, no idea,
but enjoyable fruit. The tannins are pretty chill. They show up in the back end, giving a little bit of structure, but not too much. I'm picky about that. So I like that. The acidity sticks around. It's not clean.
A little bit of the greenness on the nose and not really showing on the palate. It's just sort of like fruit and like a little bit of earthy flavors. But overall simple, gentle wine.
Totally.
85 points.
13.2%. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it to 86. Yeah, straightforward and sub 20, I believe, which totally delivers at that point. And I'd say if you're from there, definitely check it out. And if you're from out here and you happen across the bottle, if you see one around,
sub 20, totally worth checking out.
Definitely worth your time to drink. See what you think about it.
What are we drinking next?
Wine number 2 is from the winery at Grange. So it's this big old farmhouse.
I poured you a little
on the countryside. That's all right. These glasses, it's really easy to do. And this is a Meritage. Cool winery. They have a huge lineup. Man, it's one of those places you go into and you want to do the tasting? Like, sure. And they hand you a sheet with 2 sides on it. It's like a dozen wines or something like that. So great tourist stop. Or if you live in the area and you want to get to know the wines there, that's one place where you can try a lot of different varieties. Grown in Virginia, a lot of different types of grapes. And I think out of the whole lineup, actually, this one stood out to me as just kind of approachable, drinking well now, something I thought would be fun to share at the show. They also had a cool project that I decided against bringing back because it was a little more expensive, but they put it in American oak barrels, Virginia oak barrels from a Civil War battle site. There was a tree that was knocked down by a storm, and this is a cool
big
project.
Old tree.
Yeah, big old tree. Yeah, and I think they had enough to make one barrel. So
that's why this says a taste of history on the back of it, possibly.
yeah, they got a ghost story about the house that it's in, and they always leave a glass of wine out for the ghost overnight. It's cool. It's a cool place.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
And across the board, like low alcohol winemaking style, just like real friendly. Like
Nice. It sounds like a cool stop. That smells pretty good.
Definitely more dark fruit on here. Yeah. And these have been open for maybe 20 minutes, something like that. Not a whole lot of time, but they're not straight up pop and pours either.
Pretty rich, a good bit of richness to the fruit here, which I like. I mean, I think it works well with the rest of the aromas, which are like sort of. You want to say oak, but it's more of like a sawdust sort of thing. Like you're in a lumber mill, you got a little bit of that aroma going on. Yeah,
a little bit of
fruit.
blackberries and plums and
like pie fruit.
Maybe a little orange peel or something too, but engaging.
A little bit of zest in there, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Smells nice.
A little more richness, right, when it comes down on the palate too. A little more pop to it all the way across the board. We're talking about the fruit, we're talking about the tannins, just the structure in general.
That's nice.
You can just a tiniest bit of heat on there, not enough to complain about, but you can feel it.
I don't feel it.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. So it's right on that line.
Yeah. But then again, I like the bigger wines. But yeah, the sort of richness on the fruit is coming through on the palate. A lot of intensity to the fruit, which is nice. This is mainly fruit. There's less of the earth is coming through here. But the fruit that is coming through is really nice and super easy to drink, right?
Yeah.
Like the acidity backing everything up, sort of keeping the palate a little bit clean, but you still get a little bit of that like red fruit, like cherry fruit on the palate. Tannins are relaxed. Nice. Yeah, drinking well now.
That's the interesting thing about this. That's right. I made some notes here. So this is a Bordeaux blend, and I want to say like we had a really nice Bordeaux earlier this week, but I am getting kind of some of that tannin settling in the back end that kind of reminds me of Bordeaux structure. This is Cab Franc based at all of 38%. So it's Cab Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot, and Cab Sauv. 38% Cab Franc, and then 23% both of Merlot and Petit Verdot. So it's kind of an interesting blend.
Yeah, it's a lot of Petit Verdot.
And so, just like another cool wine to check out, because you're getting some interesting grapes, an interesting blend, and one that really highlights that. I think both of these. This is around $20 too. That really highlights that. It lives up to the hype, right? Like cool wine stuff is definitely happening in Northern Virginia. It's worth checking out because, yeah.
I agree. And for sub 20, this is a nice bottle of wine.
Yeah.
A really nice bottle of wine. That I think is approachable to just about anyone based on like the fruit characteristics, that bit of richness. Just super easy to drink.
And the potential that it shows, right? Like this isn't far from being amazing, right?
Right, absolutely. 86 plus or 87, 86 to 87 points. Nice wine. I mean, yeah. Just sort of lacking that something. I mean, let's go 87.
Yeah.
Go full 87 on this. Very nice wine.
And I'm just really excited to see kind of what they do in the future. I look forward to checking in on this stuff down the road, trying some other blends.
What's your score? What would you put this at? I mean, nice, simple, but well put together.
I'll be right. It's boring. I'll be right with you. I'm going to be 87. I do like it a little more than this one. There's just a little more complexity.
I agree with that.
And definitely a little more Bordeaux style. That's what's making me think that the tannins that. Like, is it something I actually don't like, or is it my bias against that kind of structure?
I was going to say, Dan's starting to like Bordeaux.
But, but interesting stuff going on. And this is the Nevaeh from Tarara. Was this 2008 or 2009?
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. Another beautiful place to stop at, though. Cool lineup of wines. This is a blend, 71% Merlot, 23% Cab Sauv, and 6% Cab Franc.
Right big blend.
Yeah, and
Merlot dominant.
Big and juicy.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
But it can be. So we'll get into this.
And this one's more expensive. I think this was $40 or something like that. But again, enjoyed it enough and thought it delivers like some interesting characteristics that are worth sharing with you guys.
And me.
And Chaz.
I'm excited to try these. I mean, I was surprised the Wine Bloggers Conference ended up there last year.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, but yeah, heard good stories. So, wow.
Kind of some funky earth on this.
Yeah.
And
we're getting a little more towards the purple drank on this one.
I think we're definitely in that camp.
Yeah.
We're gonna sip this with some Alto Moncayo and a little bit of
There you go.
right? We're gonna have the
Give me the big Spanish drank.
yeah.
Yeah. This could, the nose on this could totally stand up to that.
And that's interesting, boy. The nose. If you blinded me on just the nose, you could totally tell me it was Syrah, and I wouldn't
Right.
second guess you, because it's got some of this funkiness that I get out of Syrahs from Washington, not so much from Southern Oregon.
Yep.
And maybe that's coming out of the earth a bit, or
It's reminding me a little bit of like Washington for sure, like the big Washington Syrah, which you get normally from
Yeah.
there.
lots of fruit, boy.
Yeah, lots of fruit.
Just nice sweet blackberries.
But a good bit of like also wood, right? Getting like the wood, the sort of sawdust component in the background, but like the funky earth, but just a lot of fruit. I mean, all over the top of it.
Vanilla's coming through. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of something floral too. And this is kind of interesting. We cracked it. We both got lots of coconut on the nose, and I'm just getting a littlest bit of it now. It's not. Or do you still get a lot of it?
I get some.
Okay.
I get
it's
some.
diminished though. I think
It is diminished.
Yeah.
It was when we first opened this. It was coming off a lot like straight up suntan lotion. Coconut
Okay,
suntan
sure,
was
sure,
like,
yeah.
Ba-dow. Like it was strong, and I was like, "What is that?" It's like sawdust, but like a weird oaky edge. And Dan's like, "Coconut." I'm like, I bleeped myself on that one.
Good,
But yes,
good job.
Yeah, it was. But yes, less now.
Yeah.
But still a very powerful note.
Yeah,
so.
and richness, man. If you like the purple stuff, like if you like it big, this brings it.
This needs a styrofoam cup.
You got to keep one of those off camera. And
Filled with ice, so that like really like drinky stuff, pour it over ice, just to see what it's like. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Back to the show.
what really strikes me on the palate, and this is, man, it's so nice when you pick up wines and they deliver at least somewhat similar to the experience you remember. Right? That's one of wine's big disappointments. You're like, oh yeah, it's like this. Then you pour it for people, and they're like, no, man, it's not like that at all.
Right.
This is delivering the experience that I had, where it smells like this big heavy syrup, but the acidity comes in right away and does a nice job of kind of working with this. This is still a big heavy wine. Make no question about it. But.
Absolutely. Yeah, the acidity is balancing out the drankiness of the fruit here, keeping it sort of fresh and very delicious.
Very
honestly.
delicious.
This is nice. It's really nice.
And it lasts, like even after you swallow,
yeah.
the fruit kind of runs out on the palate. There's these blackberries, and it's not
Doesn't go away.
and it's not boozy, despite being big, like a big wine. A lot of stuff that delivers this kind of weight and this kind of fruit intensity has a tendency to be pretty alcoholic. I'm not getting it. What is that? Oh, 13.5. Out of something that's bringing this
Impressive.
much fruit, that's unusual, I think.
It's really impressive, the amount of intensity and like the weight on the palate, which you can sometimes attribute to alcohol, right? Like that adds a little more body and flavor, or not flavor, wrong. Adds just a little more body and intensity, and that's not coming through here. Which is
Tannins are nice. They're there. They dry things out on the sides, but the fruit is delicious, which I think
the length of the
Really
finish
pretty.
here is pretty remarkable, honestly. Like I wasn't getting it the first time we just pre-tasted these, but this is a lot better.
a little
Even
bit of
with just a
citrus
little
layer,
airtime. Yeah, absolutely.
a little bit of cause for thought. And again, like when you want to talk about, like to me, like evidence that this wine region is totally happening. I'm like, wow, the grapes you're growing here are producing this now. It's interesting. It's got a variety of structural elements. There's a little bit of evolution in flavor.
Yeah, and it's not just straightforward fruit here. I mean, we've got some like earthy aromas. The wood is well integrated. It's nice. It's nice wine.
Yeah. And so I did it when I was writing it up, and part of me is the excitement of like finding it at the time, but I'm gonna take it to 90 points. I think it delivers.
I agree with you. 90 points.
Yeah.
Awesome. This would be an interesting wine to throw in as a ringer on like a Washington Memorial blend tasting.
I think Scott Hollowell would like this.
I
See this.
Scott, yeah, we'll drink this sometime.
Yeah, it
Cool
would
stuff.
be fun to come across to get more. So, yeah, so cool wines, and we're going to totally depart
That's
from.
really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're totally going to depart from the obvious question of the day here. We're going to talk about something completely different. Diablo 3 came out this week, and
I'm doing homework.
I really like playing video games, and I just don't so
too.
much anymore. I pretty much retired, but I still picked it up. I've been playing it a little bit here and there. Have a really good time with it as we got into the weekend here. Who knows how much I'll be able to keep up with it, but I'm digging it. So, you know, do you guys like Diablo 3? Have you tried it out? What do you think? If not, what was the last video game you played and enjoyed? Thanks for watching.
Well, I'll answer that question.
Right.
Mass Effect 3 for me.
Nice.
I'm trying to beat it right now.
You're still working on it.
Yeah, I've played all the Mass Effect games, read all the novels that land before and in between the games, and like it's coming to a head. Like I'm seriously probably 1 or 2 plays away from beating the game. Like,
he loves it so much that he sold me on it. Like I haven't played any of them.
I'm really excited to finish it.
One of my friends back in Minnesota was like, "Dude, you got to play Mass Effect. It's one of the best series ever produced."
The story is amazing, and the way that they integrated the novels with the games. The first time I've ever seen this done in this much effect. Awesome.
Yeah. So Gary Vaynerchuk talks about sports. We talk about nerdy
video.
computer stuff.
Yep.
That's some truth right there.
See you guys next time.
Cheers.